Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury have been releasing clips of themselves here and there, hitting the bags, hitting the pads in training camp, but they obviously look in good shape. Both Usyk and Fury are looking reasonably sharp. More so Tyson Fury I want to talk about in this video, because a lot of people say you're only as good as your last fight, and a lot of people look at Alexander Usyk versus Dubois and say, well, Usyk is on the slide, which I've said several times. It was actually a very good performance, I thought, from Alexander Usyk. I don't know what people, what they're looking at when they say it was a poor performance. I didn't see that. Now, on the other hand, if you look at Fury and Ngannou, well, that was definitely a poor performance. I don't think there's any debating that. Yes, Tyson Fury did still win, and I felt he won legitimately, but nevertheless, it was a very bad performance. And bear in mind, Alexander Usyk, some people would say it was a less than stellar performance. I disagree. But that was against Daniel Dubois, his mandatory, a man who has gone on to beat Jarrell Miller, and some people would say maybe that's not much of an achievement, but nevertheless, he was able to come through adversity. But as a fully fledged heavyweight, has boxed for a long time, still quite young. And yeah, that's what he did. And Tyson Fury fought Francis Ngannou, who is a MMA guy, primarily in the UFC. And I believe he's going back to the UFC and got absolutely laid spark out by Anthony Joshua. So, going life and death with him is not a good look. Now, Fury obviously didn't train fully. He probably did train, but he trained, but he didn't train with the intensity he needed. And he obviously didn't take Francis Ngannou serious. And to be honest with you, realistically, should he have? Because you would expect him to win. He went in there on fight night, didn't look good. Now, I suspect Anthony Joshua, if he didn't train 100% for Ngannou, the result would have still been the same. Would have been a knockout, because the skill gap was just massive. When I look at Fury in that fight, he was getting hit a lot more than we're used to seeing him. His legs didn't seem to have the same bounce that we're used to seeing. There was a lot of things there that you'd look at and think, oh God, thank God it's Ngannou, because if it was Usyk, that could have been ugly. Now, do I think we'll see a better Fury come what may? Yes, 100%. I think we'll see a better Fury come what may. Some would argue, will we see a better Usyk come what may? And I would say, well, you can improve on the Dubois performance, but again, it wasn't a terrible performance by no stretch. But if you could improve on it, happy days, We're going to get both guys firing on close to all cylinders. I don't think either guy is in their prime anymore, their athletic prime anyway. But I think we'll see a better version of Tyson Fury nonetheless. But the question is he on the decline regardless of what we're seeing in camp? Because it's easy, as I've said, to go and upload clips of yourself to YouTube or Instagram where you're hitting the pads, you're looking sharp, and people are like, oh wow, this is amazing. Anyone remember James the Beast Wilson? A lot of his clips were going viral back in the day, maybe 2018, 2019, and people were like, are you seeing this James the Beast Wilson guy? And I was one of the few to come out and say he's pretty damn garbage. In fact, I did a video of him before he took a loss against Andrew Tabiti saying how he is going to lose, he's garbage. And if you looked at his training clips, you think, oh my God, stand back from this guy. The training clips don't tell the whole story. They'll just show you a little snippet and you can say, okay, looks alright, but the reality is who was it? Was it Jim Watt or someone who said that the greatest lie detector in the world is the boxing ring? Because that will really tell you everything. That will tell you who's trained. That will tell you where you're at in your career. Training clips and footage like that, that's not going to tell you anything. That's going to tell you that you're in the gym, that you're taking over, and that a 20-second clip shows that you're able to hit the pads or you're able to hit the bag. And I'm saying that for both guys, not just Tyson Fury. The greatest lie detector is that boxing ring. It will tell us all on fight night, come what may, where both guys are at. I suspect Alexander Usyk, because he's lived a much cleaner lifestyle, he's done heavyweight correctly, and what I mean by that is that he's come up from cruiserweight and he's not packed on unnecessary muscle. He's not coming in 240, which is be a detriment to him. He's making the most of his strengths, which is all you really can do. Is if you have strengths, make the most of them. If you're faster, don't give that speed away. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, has lived a less than clean life in and outside the ring. And it's not been just that time out of the ring. It's been recurrent throughout the course of his career. And you can only get away with that for but so long when the body really does start to break down. Because Tyson Fury is 35, I believe, could be going on 36 there thereabouts. But he'll be, I think, 35 years old, so he's not a crazy old man. But internally, what's been going on? You hear people who've lived a very hard lifestyle. They've, drank, they've smoked, they've taken all kinds of stuff, and on the surface they're 34, 35 years old, but internally that body is about 50. I'm not saying that's the same case for Tyson Fury, but you see it, and you see it in people's facial features, and you see it in how they are. They don't have the same poise as someone who is the same age but has lived a much cleaner life. They've drank in moderation, they haven't smoked, they haven't done any of the Bob Marley or anything like that, and they're in a much better place, physically, aesthetically, everything. I'm wondering, are we going to see that with Tyson Fury? It looked to me, as even going back as far as the Chisora fight, that looked to me, the fact that Chisora, as slow as molasses and a man who was way past it, was still able to get in close and get on top of Tyson Fury at times, land shots, that shouldn't have been happening. Certainly with that version of Chisora, that shouldn't have been happening. And if that is happening, well, you fast forward a year and a bit later and you've only had 10 rounds of action against a novice, and you didn't look good in that fight. You're going in there now against Alexander Usyk, and the fact that Fury hasn't seemed keen on this fight in the past until Alexander Usyk showed a bit of fragility and the Saudis gave him a check he just couldn't say no to, it leads me to believe that he doesn't, I'm sure he isn't afraid of Usyk. He's not afraid of the punches. He's afraid of losing. And I'm sure he thinks, right, with Usyk, I can win, but I need to make sure it's perfect, whereas with someone like Ngannou, I can win, I don't have to be perfect, and I can make just as much money. That's how it seemed with Tyson Fury, and he's not a stupid man by no stretch. I think he knows deep down the body is not where it was 4 years ago. The body is not where it was in the Klitschko fight nearly a decade ago. It's not the same. He doesn't have the same energy, probably. He doesn't have the, everything is probably not going to be, you're not going to be as good as 35 as you were at 28, 29. It's just not going to happen, and I think Fury knows that, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons is Hatman's theorized that he's so animated and aggravated and angry with Alexander Usyk and others, is the fact that he is maybe trying to do stuff in camp that he used to be able to do and now we just can't do it because the body just won't do it. And that's a very good point and could very well be the case. As I said, we'll know on fight night come what may. But if I was to hazard a guess, do I think Fury is on the decline? He's starting to show signs of it. I would say, yeah. I say you'd only have to go and look at not even the Ngannou fight, but the Chisora fight to see that. It's just a case of, can one camp and one extended camp, can that overcompensate for that? Can that bring the clock back, or at the very least, can it stop the clock just that little bit to give Fury a chance of winning this fight? We'll know come off fight night, but if I was to bet and hazard a guess, I would say neither guy is at their athletic peak. I think Fury is more far removed than Alexander Usyk at this minute in time. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section below. We are getting closer. By this time next week, we'll be roughly a month away, and I will be looking forward to it 100%. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button, people. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And as always, people, I will talk to you. I much appreciate you all locking in. Peace.